We're between Loch Lochy and Loch Arkaig on the path above the Witch's Cauldron. And these blocks on the side of the track here, they've been quarried from the local, what's called striped formation, which is it's a metamorphic rock. And you can see the metamorphic layering very nicely in it here. And it's cut by this little vein or dyklet. And there's something slightly strange about it, a bit of a conundrum, because the dyklet is cutting the metamorphic layering, so it post-date the metamorphic layering. So any deformation that happened to the dyklet also has to have happened to the metamorphic layering, but anything that happened to the metamorphic layering before the dyklet was intruded, the dyklet doesn't see. So in principle, the metamorphic layering should be more deformed than the dyklet. But you can see the dyklet is really very, very folded, and the layering is very straight. So what we have happening here is you can see that the dyklet is slightly oblique to the layering. The layering is about like this, the dyklet's like that. So if we shear the rock parallel to the layering, that's how the layering forms, by having shear. And you end up having chemical separation of different minerals in these layers which are parallel to shear. But if we shear it like this, then because the dyke is like this, the shortening direction is like this, so the dyke is getting shortened during the shear. So either it's got to get fatter or it's got to fold. What we see is that it's folding and it's getting fatter. And in fact, in these regions where it's more parallel to the layering here and here, you can see there's an asymmetry to the folds. So down here, you can see very clearly these folds are asymmetric. Or up here, you can see these folds are asymmetric, and they bend over, and the top on this side and the bottom on this side, which is consistent with that direction of shear. And then where it's more oriented directly in the shortening direction, you get more symmetric folds in this region where it's steeper. So it's a really nice example of the way that cross-cutting features at different angles can tell you about the kinematics. If we didn't have this dyklet here, all we'd know is that it's a layered rock, and we would probably assume that it was caused by shear, but there'd be no evidence to say what the orientation of shear is. And this little dyklet very clearly shows that it's a top to the left for the way that you're looking sense of shear in this block.